Michaela here, and welcome to Hotel Room Yap with Michaela. I travel a lot for conventions, as many of you know, and I often find myself sitting alone, pondering lots of lovely things and terrible things and in between things when I'm in hotel rooms all over the country and sometimes the world. So instead of just sitting here and spiraling into solid tutory madness, is that a word? It's getting late. See, this is what I'm talking about. I figured I would bring you guys along my thought journey, and maybe some of you guys think some of these thoughts too, or have to deal with these qualms or these questions, and maybe we can just take a second and think about them together. But before we get started, let's cozy up a little bit. Okay, I'm attempting to read more this year, so I'm also going to try to include the book that I'm currently reading, and then maybe just like flip to a page from like a section that I've read already and see if there's any inspiring message, anything helpful, I don't know, maybe at the end of our little yap session. So we're starting off strong because this has been on my mind a lot the last couple of weeks, and that is what to do when you feel like you've either lost a friend or a friend or person no longer likes you. And obviously we're not going to get down to the bottom of it in one yap session, nor are those two topics exactly the same, but I have noticed, I don't know, just interesting examples of like people who I thought were going to be in my life long term slowly drift away, seemingly without any particular catalyst or reason. And then I watch them, share and post things about, love being the center and like accepting, I don't know, all things and growth. And I'm like, why am I not a part of that? Especially if we have a lot of history. So I guess this is a two-parter. So let's start perhaps with the meatier one, which is if it's somebody who you have had a friendship with or have been close with, and then that friendship begins to kind of drift apart. Okay, so maybe take a moment and start with you or me. Have there been any particular large moments, emotional moments, intimidating, painful moments that maybe have occurred that perhaps you didn't realize impacted the other person? I, in most cases, can indeed think of a few times when, maybe I lost my cool, or I didn't show up the exact way I needed to as a friend, or perhaps I was absent, whether it be emotionally or, legitimately. I popped up to make sure I was still recording because I wasn't 100% sure. So apologies if my adjustment is slightly off, or if the next sentence doesn't 100% make sense with what I just said. But I definitely know of some circumstances in pretty much any friendship where, like I said, I lost my cool, I didn't show up as a friend the way I should have. But in my head, I would like to think that if someone's important to you and if you're their friend, for real, you talk to them about that moment and you work through it. I know I've been hurt plenty of times by friends of mine, acquaintances, people in general, but definitely by friends of mine, by things that they've said or moments where I felt left out. And I don't know, I think it's important. I think friendship is really important to keep coming back to and work on. And it's similar to a relationship romantically and with your parents and with siblings. It does take effort. And so I think what's been hard lately, especially as I get older, I'm just wondering why it feels anyway that other people don't hold friendship with me, I guess, in as high of a regard as I do with them. And maybe I'm not enough of what they need in a friend. Like maybe they need somebody who texts them more often or who calls and checks in. Like I'm unsure if I am coming off as a great friend to them. Perhaps I am not fulfilling things that I don't need, or that I don't know I need to fulfill, which is an important part of friendship, is letting people know that. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. I mean, I feel like I've grown up and moved a lot and around a lot of different people. I was born in the Midwest, Southern Indiana, woohoo, Hoosiers, 20 minutes north of like Louisville, Kentucky. Moved out to LA. I've moved to lots of different apartments and houses and cities and schools. And so if I've known you for a long time, in spite of all these moves, I feel like you're pretty important to me. And when, you continuously don't check in on me, think of me whenever there's something that maybe reminds you of me, want to call and check in, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Now, I'm the type of gal that can pick up where we left off as if no time has passed, and then we just keep going. I know everyone's busy. Everyone's got a life. I don't have time to check in on you every day, and you probably don't have time to check on me every day. But whenever there's something that reminds me of my friends, I cannot help but think of them and then want to message them, ping them. If I see something cute that I think they'd like, I want to get it for them. But I'm starting to be at a point where I only want to do those things if then it's going to be returned. Because if I send a text or tag you on something or send you something and then I don't hear from you that you received it and I don't get any of that care back, that's a problem. That's one-sided. That is a one-sided friendship. We are too old for that. We don't need to do that anymore. So, yeah, that's part one. I don't have answers for you. I'm just here to hopefully be a place of comfort. If you've had these thoughts too, if you're trying to figure this out, I'm not sure. Maybe people just grow apart. Maybe other people take on more important roles. They're closer to where they're at in life, in work, in love, in friendship, in proximity, in personal growth, in emotional health, in, I don't know, all sorts of factors. I don't have the answer, but I do know that it hurts and it's a bummer. And I would like to think, hopefully, when I'm 70, 80 years old, I can have a couple friends from this era in my life that I'm super, super tight with, and we get each other, we're there for each other, we mess up and we apologize and we continue to support each other. That's the goal. On to part two, part dos. What to do when you feel like people who maybe did like you, maybe all of a sudden don't like you, or upon first meeting, maybe the vibes are off and you're like, what did I do? What's happening? I think that's just life. I think there's a lot of navigating personalities in living. This one is tricky for me. First impressions are very important. I would say I'm average at them. I think some people are really good at first impressions, and a lot of those people are really good at business and, well, sometimes, and really good at auditions and booking jobs, because they're so great at walking into a room and being like, hey, I'm at ease here. Also, we're best friends now. And you just believe them, you're buying everything they're selling, and you're like, this is amazing, I love this person. Those people, magical. They book things like this, they get what they need, they get what they want, they make the room feel like magic, it's all very exciting. I can't do that very well. But what you do meet and see upon first, interaction is pretty much what you get. So you're not going to be wildly impressed or disappointed, I feel like, afterwards. It's kind of like, hello, Zuko here. Just kidding. There's definitely going to be some Avatar inserts of jokesdom, okay? It's going to happen because I'm here doing Avatar things, so obviously Avatar's on my mind. Anyway, but you're very much going to get just like a, hey, I'm Michaela. Hello. Maybe that's also a little bit of my tism. I'm sure I'm on some sort of spectrum. That's for another Yap Fest. That's for another Yap session, okay? We'll get into that a different time. But I just, there've been many, many times where I meet people, we connect, we vibe. I either meet them at a party, I meet them at an event, we network, I meet them somewhere, whatever. We hang out once or twice, we kind of text back and forth, Sometimes we end up being at an event together or at a premiere, or they invite me to be a part of something for a project, whatever. And then there's kind of like this sharp like disconnect somewhere along the way. And they feel different. It's not all the same. Otherwise, I would feel like I'd be trying to track like the pattern, but it's different. It's very different. But I just know that it's like almost like trying me on for size almost. And then it's kind of like, okay, maybe not. And I'm like not even sure what the test was. That's the craziest thing. I feel like I was put a little bit on like some sort of trial, but I don't know what the pop quiz was on. Do any of you ever feel that? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. And then it turns into a similar thing where I'll like, tag them in something, send them a message, inquire about something, and then I just don't hear back. And now we're past the point, again, we're past the point of begging, we're past the point of chasing. I hear you loud and clear. If you don't respond to me, you're not interested, okay? But you were, and what shifted? Again, it's not our job to try to analyze that fully. Everyone's got their own agenda, and I fully believe that everyone is functioning more from the perspective of, I just believe these things are important and these people and things are tied to what's important, and not like, ooh, I dislike this person, so I'm gonna stop talking to this person. So maybe let's collectively agree on that. That's, I feel like, a very healthy thing for us to do. Everyone's just doing their own thing, so stop taking it personally. But if there is something tied to me, or maybe something that I'm doing that I can keep track of, that at least I'm aware of more, maybe that's a good thing. Keeping an eye on that. I think in different genres of life, that can obviously be different. So some friends of mine who are in the entrepreneur, like startup business space, they're going to have different either expectations or communication styles, or maybe expectations of their peers than maybe friends of mine in the creative space, in the writer space, in the painter, actor, dancer space, right? These people all need different things in order to feel fulfilled and purposeful in their own lives. So yeah, I don't know if this is at all going to be helpful. Perhaps we will start yapping in the comments, perhaps we will yap on Discord. But that has been on my mind a lot the past couple weeks. The kind of slow dissipation, I guess, of a friendship that you thought was going to grow stronger and grow up with you, and then the dissipation of new connections and new acquaintances that you felt were relatively strong, and then also kind of started dissipating, and just kind of sitting on maybe your own role in that, but also recognizing that you can only be who you are, and maybe you learn a thing or two from what you contributed, but also everyone is their own person, and we have to kind of learn to just roll with it and disconnect healthily whenever someone is not interested in maybe connecting with you as much anymore. Getting lost in the sauce a little bit because I started thinking while I was speaking. Don't know if any of you do that, but yeah, I'm just going through my little Rolodex of things, little moments, little messages that I've noticed over the past couple months. I'm just like, I wonder. And maybe all of us are in this, in a transition phase right now. Okay, well, thank you for hanging out with me for the first episode of Hotel Room Yap. If you would like to subscribe on YouTube, if this is your first time finding me and you're not subscribed yet, feel free to join. There are some travel vlogs and some cool things from cons, and now Hotel Room Yap. If you would like to join the fun Discord I mentioned earlier, head to my website, michaelajillmurphy.com, and join the bandits, because, as I mentioned, there will be Avatar references. If you join the Sprout Bandit tier, that gets you access to the website feed and to Discord if you want to just come hang and yap with us some more. And thanks for listening. I have to come up with some catchy outro, because I have my whole intro. I just thought of this yesterday, and now I'm filming it. So what I do now might set the precedence, but of course it will grow and change. How do we outro? I feel like I guess I kind of end a lot of my videos on YouTube similarly. Oh, hello, the book. Silly me. Okay, let's do, I've only read like the first few pages of this, so, nope, that's too far. Let's see, I want it to be a page I've read already. Okay, I've read this one already. Let's see, anything on here? Okay. Last pieces of wisdom for you today from The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. This was gifted to me by Eric of Carrot Card for my birthday last year. Okay, perhaps this is the familiar coming back to us in an unfamiliar form. Or maybe it is something unknown that we didn't realize we were looking for. A missing piece in a puzzle that has no end. And with that, we conclude episode 1. See you guys next time. Bye.